fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
I pressed my palm against the ancient mirror, feeling the chill of its silver skin seep into my fingertips like a winter breeze on a forgotten night. The moonlight that filtered through the cracked window was a gentle lover's caress, turning dust motes into trembling stars that swirled around me in a celestial dance. The scent of aged oak and the faint incense of forgotten rituals filled my lungs, grounding me in a place that felt both timeless and on the brink of collapse, where the past and present collided in a swirl of forgotten memories. My name is Alara, a witch who has always chased the edges of magic, drawn to objects that hum with a life of their own, like a moth to the flame that promises both destruction and transformation. This mirror promised power and peril in equal measure, a thin veil between what was and what could be, a threshold that beckoned me to step into the unknown. I felt a low thrumming vibrate up my arm as I pressed harder, the resonance matching the frantic beat of my heart, which was racing with anticipation and a hint of fear. As I stood there, the silence was almost palpable, a living, breathing entity that wrapped itself around me, making my skin prickle with goosebumps. Images flickered across the glass like the pages of a forgotten book, shadows of battles long past, faces I could not name, a river of blood flowing backward as if time itself was unraveling before my eyes. For a heartbeat, I saw my own reflection, older, eyes rimmed with sorrow, a crown of ash upon my brow, a haunting reminder of the choices I had yet to make. The mirror sighed, exhaling centuries of weight, like a tired lover releasing a long-held breath. The sound sent shivers down my spine, and I felt the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. A crash shattered the quiet, like a crack of thunder on a summer night, and Kale's massive form slammed into me from behind, his chest a solid weight that pressed my ribs together, making my breath catch in my throat. His calloused hand, warm despite the night chill, clamped around my wrist like a vice, protective, possessive, intoxicating, sending a spark of electricity through my veins. His breath, spiced with amber and something darker, ghosted across the sensitive skin of my neck, making my heart skip a beat. "Still lost in the past, little witch," he murmured, his voice a low caress that curled around my ear, a challenge wrapped in affection, a gentle reminder of the nights we had spent together, of the laughter, the tears, and the whispered secrets. A delicious tremor of fear and desire surged through me, his dark current coiling around my own, like a snake wrapping itself around its prey. I could taste the copper of his words, the metallic tang of danger that always seemed to follow him, like a shadow that haunted his every step. My mind raced, cataloging every memory of the nights we had spent together, his laughter echoing off stone walls, the way his fingers traced constellations on my skin, the moments when his eyes lingered a heartbeat longer than necessary, like a lover's gentle touch. Before I could answer, Liam stepped from the shadows, his golden eyes blazing with a fierce light, like a sunrise over a summer horizon. He slipped his hand around my waist, his touch both a promise and a command, a gentle reminder of the love we shared, of the whispers, the sighs, and the sweet nothings. "She decides, Kale," he said, his voice a smooth thunder that made the hair on my arms stand up, a gentle warning that I was the one who held the power, who held the key to our destiny. The mirror cracked, a jagged line spiderwebbing across its surface, and a vortex of darkness began to swallow the room, like a living, breathing entity that threatened to consume us all. I stood between two men who had claimed my heart in different ways, Kale, the storm-born warrior whose darkness matched my own, and Liam, the sunlit sorcerer whose warmth ignited my longing, like a flame that burned bright and true. The mirror's vortex pulsed, urging a choice that would seal not only my fate but theirs, a choice that would determine the course of our lives, like a river that flowed into the unknown. My breath caught, the scent of incense mixing with the metallic tang of blood and the sweet heat of Kale's skin, like a heady perfume that intoxicated my senses. I felt the weight of centuries pressing down, but also the fierce, tender beat of my own heart, like a drum that pounded out a rhythm that only I could hear. I closed my eyes, letting the mirror's darkness swirl around me, and whispered the name that had been waiting on my lips for too long, like a secret that I had kept hidden, even from myself. "Liam," I breathed, the word a promise and a surrender, a choice that would change the course of our lives forever. The vortex surged, swallowing us whole, and the world tilted into a new, uncharted realm where love, magic, and destiny would be tested beyond anything we had ever known, like a journey into the unknown, where the only constant was the love we shared. As we stood there, the darkness swirling around us, I felt Kale's hand tighten around my wrist, like a vice that held me in place, while Liam's hand around my waist pulled me closer, like a gentle lover's caress. I felt the heat of their bodies, the beat of their hearts, and the love that they shared with me, like a flame that burned bright and true. And in that moment, I knew that I had made the right choice, that I had chosen the path that would lead us to our destiny, like a river that flowed into the unknown. The mirror's vortex pulsed, like a living, breathing entity that wrapped itself around us, and I felt the magic of the universe unfolding before us, like a tapestry that was woven from the threads of our love. As we stepped into the unknown, I knew that our journey would be filled with challenges, with obstacles that would test our love, our magic, and our destiny. But I also knew that we would face them together as one, like a trio of lovers who were bound by their love for each other. And so, with Liam's hand around my waist and Kale's hand around my wrist, we stepped into the vortex, like a trio of lovers who were ready to face whatever the universe had in store for us. The darkness swallowed us whole, and we disappeared into the unknown, like a dream that vanished into the light of dawn. But even as we disappeared, I knew that our love would remain, like a flame that burned bright and true, a flame that would guide us through the darkness and lead us to our destiny. And so our journey began, like a river that flowed into the unknown, a journey that would take us to the depths of our love, our magic, and our destiny. We would face challenges, we would face obstacles, but we would face them together as one, like a trio of lovers who were bound by their love for each other. And in the end, we would emerge like a phoenix from the ashes, our love, our magic, and our destiny forged in the fire of our passion, like a sword that was tempered in the flames of our love.